Well, what are we supposed to do now? We have so many cavalry commanders to choose from now. With the launch of Achilles, with the launch of Hector, we've got David coming in the garrison. We've got all these different cav commanders. Of course, gang style came into the game just recently. So how are we supposed to do this? Because one thing's for certain, it doesn't look like they're going with the skill damage stuff. And if that's the case, what do we do? How do we do it? So it doesn't matter if you're running one cav march. Most players run 2 cav marches. Some run 3, and some psychos out there run 4 and 5 and even 6 or 7. Crazy. But we're going to show you, for all of us regular plebs, how to set up your marches, what to do, because now we got to have the conversation finally between combo and skill. What's the best way to do it? And what's the best way to lay it out? So stick around, because we will go through all of it right here.
Rallies lit up, marching right from the zone to the zone. I stay in control. Man of the people, all heart, no roll, no script, no throne, just rhythm and fire. Built for the push, never gonna tire. You feel that burn, and you already know we're locked in deep. This is Chatsky mode. This is Chatsky mode.
Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I put out videos all the time. I hope you enjoyed that new intro music we've got. And if you would be so kind, throw a like on the video. If you're getting good value out of this, all the different kinds of content that I put out, I love being able to help everybody with their accounts, with the game, do what's best for you. So throw a like on here, really helps out the channel. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so. You can hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get alerts, you can hit the bell to get alerts whenever I put out content like this. Well, this is what we've got. So many commanders now. Arthur, okay, probably before the new commanders came into the game, was the most powerful cav commander. One of the most powerful commanders in the game. Still is one of the most powerful commanders in the game, okay? We've got Huo, of course. Skill damage, all right? He's got to be primary, and Huo is starting to get old. And now that it looks like we're not going to be backloading the cavalry with more skill damage commanders, we got to figure this thing out on what to do. Then they released Achilles, okay? And then they released Gang that we're going to be able to get in the wheel, they said at the beginning of December. So now we got to figure this out. We've got an MGE commander in David. He might be in the play here when it comes to the field. I'll explain that later. We've still got guys like Attila. You got William. You've got Nevsky and Joan. Okay, how do we run this thing? Well, let's throw a little bit of a wrench in here, because now you've also got Philip, who we've been running Arthur with Philip for a while, and even me, I'm running Attila Philip. And then who else do we have? Well, we've also got some dude named Hector that does a lot of combo damage on a single target situation, so you can use him for cavalry too. We just went from, so everybody understands, we just went from like no combo commanders, you have one in Arthur if he's primary, to now we just got them all over the place. Like, what are we supposed to do with this? Well, I went through and I kind of tried to get this thing figured out to what the most common thing is. And straight up, the most common thing to do for players is, a lot of players have been working on a Delta set. A lot of players have been working on a Delta set. Now, this Delta set's kind of cracked. Guys, listen, I'm a cav simp. All right, that's what I do. All right, so I've got really good stuff when it comes to cavalry and when it comes to the different formations. But most everybody's been working on this little guy over here, this Delta formation, trying to get causative or butterfly for this instrument slot. That's the most important one. But now that we have more combo commanders to add with Arthur, Flurry all of a sudden starts being really good to boost the combo attack damage dealt. So with that, everybody, just about everybody I know, still has a wedge skill damage formation. Some have 2, and they haven't gone to the Delta route. If you are a new player in this game, let me be crystal clear, because we just got the forecasting for this when they released Gang and David. When they released these guys, they basically told us there is not going to be any skill damage cavalry commanders on the horizon. Okay, Gang is combo. All right, David is combo. That's the next MGE, the next generation of cavalry commanders. And that's pretty much how they've even said that so much that when they gave us Hector, and he's so versatile, they literally told us that if you put him behind a cavalry commander, we're going to make him a combo commander. So there is no skill damage right now. We haven't had a skill damage commander since Arthur, and that's just if he's a primary. Okay, Arthur does both. If he's a That's just if Arthur's a secondary. That's the only way he's a skill damage commander, and he does both. If he's a primary, he's a combo damage commander. So what the hell do we do? Are you kidding me? So from there, we're going to figure this thing out, okay? And if you are a new player, I cannot stress this enough. Do not go the skill damage route. Just don't go down that road. Don't start making wedge stuff for Cavs unless you're planning on converting it over to Delta. Don't invest in Huo. Don't invest in Joan. Don't invest in Nevsky. Do not mess with any of that. You want to stick to what's best and what's out there. And what's best right now is Achilles. He's cracked. He is as good as I said he was going to be. Like, it is incredible what this guy does. Super powerful. He is as powerful, if not more, than Arthur. Okay, so when you put those two together, you got stuff that's like rivaling BQ Luce. And for me, on my second account, it's actually doing just as well without the gear that my BQ Luce has. It's kind of crazy. So with that, that's where you want to go. If you're just now starting the game, or if you're getting into Season of Conquest, just don't even mess with the wedge stuff, because you're not going to invest in these commanders. All right, so that's the first and foremost PSA for everybody. And if you're free to play, or if you're just building marches, go with the best you can get. Okay, Arthur and Achilles is the best cavalry march. Gang Gang is really, really good. I haven't done like a full breakdown and a full guide on Gang Gang, but he provides some crazy healing stuff. I think he's gonna be a good option for cavalry, especially if you're running 2 calves or 3 calves. But if you're just running 1, it's Arthur Achilles all day. It is a field monster. It is a KP machine. And it is just absolutely doing wonders already. We've only had it for like a week, and people are just loving it in Zone 5. A lot of people opening up Kingsland tomorrow. They're running it like crazy. So that's the one you want to go with. But now that we're sitting here and we're saying, okay, how we have all these commanders, who do I want to invest in? What do I want to do? I'm going to say Achilles is the one you were going to invest in. Between him and Gang Gang, you can get Gang Gang in the wheel, okay? Gang Gang style can go in the wheel. You can get some heads on him. You can start to work on him. But if you're trying to figure out where to put your gold heads and you're going to go fight really, really quick, if you're not going to fight for a while, just keep investing in wheel spins and different events and things like that. If you are going to fight like tomorrow, then you really got to think about maxing some commanders, or at least getting into like a 5-5-5-1 like we advised everybody to do with Achilles. Okay. And so from that standpoint, how do you run 2 marches like Chadsky? I've got skill damage. I've got Delta. With all the new commanders, how would you run it? So let me show you, okay? I've got this over here, and I've even got saved over here in my photo album. This is how we're gonna do our 2 cavalry, 1 combo, 1 skill damage, okay? This is how we're gonna do it. This is what I feel like most people have, but I've also got some alternatives for you. So just don't panic if you're looking at that saying Achilles and Gang Gang, I gotta max them both. What the hell? This is if I had if I had anything to pick from, this is what I would pick. If I had to run 1 combo and 1 skill damage, this is what I would pick, because Arthur has to be with Huo. He has to be. Okay, Arthur has got to be with Huo, and that's just the way it is. And that's the only thing that really makes a good skill damage march now, because Arthur's got to carry Huo. Okay, and Arthur's been carrying Huo, and he's been carrying Cavs for the last nearly a year without any help. So now he's got some help. And if I had unlimited, I would love to run it with Achilles and Gang Gang. Okay, we know from the previous video that I put out to confirm that Gang Gang's healing works with the other commanders. So basically, no matter what combo damage you do, it can be from passive skills, it can be from the other commander's active skill, it can be from the tree. Okay, we know that Gang Gang is going to heal based on the combo damage you do. So if you put Achilles with Gang Gang, you're going to heal a ton. Okay, especially if you have the expertise going with the enhanced healing. All right, but you've got other things out here that, like the Palean Spear, that thing starts firing off with the expertise. It starts proccing, you start healing. All right, and then you come down into the talents, even at the end of the combo tree. You're doing this combo damage, you're healing off of that. You're healing off of everything. And so that's why I think that Achilles and Gang Gang is a really good option if you got to move Arthur to your wedge side with Huo, okay? But let's talk about this because you're saying, hey, Chadsky, I don't have Gang Gang and I'm not gonna have him. I'm gonna go get Achilles, okay? From that standpoint, you are gonna be able to move over and you're gonna bring a Huo Joan, okay? I didn't leave them out. There's my Huo Joan. You're gonna run Huo Joan or you're gonna run Huo Belly, or if you're really desperate, I guess, you run Huo with William. Some people like William more than Belly. Some people like William more than Joan. Some people like Joan more than Belly. Some people like Belly more than everybody. So those are your options if you have to move Achilles with Arthur. If you have to run Arthur with Achilles, those are your options, okay? So you can run it like this if you have everything that you need, or you can run it with Huo Joan, Huo Belly, Huo William, and then run Arthur with Achilles. That's the march that's crushing it, okay? And so that's literally what I tested and did on my account. I literally went in here and said, okay, on my second account, I don't have all the calves. I got 2 marches. I've still got a skill damage march. So I ran Huo with Arthur, and then I actually ran Attila with Achilles. That's what I ran. And then I ran Achilles with Philip. And they both did pretty well. And because I've got Hector maxed and I wasn't in Garrison, I ran Achilles with Hector. Those are all gonna do pretty well. I mean, Achilles is gonna carry just about everybody. That's how powerful he is. So there's multiple ways you can do that. You can take a screenshot of this. I'm also gonna have it in my Discord so you get a good idea of it, okay? Now, if you're in the situation where like Chadsky, I cannot make Huo work. I want to run Arthur as a combo commander. I don't want to jack with skill damage anymore. I don't have Belly maxed, okay? I don't want to run Huo and Joan. I don't want to run Huo and William. Then here is the solution, going with 2 marches and 2 combos, okay? This is what you run. If I had my full druthers to pick anything I wanted, this is what I would run. I would put Gang Gang in that massive healing behind Arthur because he's going to heal when Arthur does big combo damage. And then I would bring in Hector and I would run Achilles with Hector. Now, you could easily argue for Achilles and Philip, and you could easily argue for Attila and Achilles. Okay, those are marches that are easy. I ran Attila Achilles. I've shown the reports. I went through the report manager, and I even ran it with Delta, and it ran good. It ran really good. Not like my best march, but it didn't have my best gear, and it just ran really good, traded like 125%, okay? If you don't have Gang Gang and you want to run Arthur with Philip, you can totally do that. You can even run the Arthur with Achilles, okay? And then switch it up and run Gang Gang with David, all right? Don't advise that just yet. I'm not a fan of David in the field. He's a Garrison commander, okay? But he's going to have some serviceability. We'll talk about that here in a few. So from there, you could run Arthur with Philip, you could run Attila with Achilles, and you don't even have to have Hector or Gang Gang. Okay, you can do it multiple different ways, and they're gonna work out pretty good because the bottom line is Arthur and Achilles gotta be in there somewhere, somehow they gotta be in there. Okay, and if you have Gang Gang, get them in there. If you have Hector, get them in there. And that's where you want to run the combos, okay? But not everybody's going to have all that. So I'm giving you different options to run. And you can always go into my Discord and ask, and go into my Ask Anything channel. You get great advice there. Chadsky, I've got this combo. What should I do? Or I've got these marches, these pairings. What should I do? And we are all there to help you out. I got great people in there. I got people like Evergreen. I got Solar in there. I've got Bad Abdul in there. I got a lot of people in my Discord that help out so many players. Minty's even in there helping players out from 1093. So with that, there's your 2 combo situation when you want to just run 2 cavalry. Okay, if you are growing your account right now and you haven't like really gotten to 2 cav marches yet, this should be your goal. Okay, some form or combination of this should be your goal. You got it? And so that's what we're looking at with 2 cavalry marches, both combo. All right, let's go to 3 cavalry marches. Okay, 3 cavalry marches, 1 skill, 2 combo. This is exactly how I'd run. I want to use Arthur for a combo commander. I do not want to use him for skill damage. So my weakest march is probably going to be the Huo Joan. Probably just straight up, it's going to be the weakest march. And I got to try to keep that thing out of trouble. And then I would run Arthur Gang Gang, and then I would run Achilles with Hector. Now, if I don't have Hector or I don't have Gang Gang, you could easily run it with Arthur and Philip and Attila Achilles. You could do it multiple different ways. Okay, not everybody has the arch formation stuff for Attila, so you can even run that with Delta. Okay, and so there's kind of a lot of players, and like this is what I'm trying to debate with right now, because this is how I'm set up, except this is arch right here. And I have to figure out exactly how I'm gonna run this. And so I am not yet, because we have new formations being teased, I am not yet trying to figure out if I'm going to convert my current wedge only just to go convert it again, because we got new formations coming and we have no idea what the skill damage formation is going to look like. And so that's one of the disclaimers that we've always got to say is that, hey, I understand if you want Chadsky, I run Huo, I run him with Belly, I run him with Joan, I've got a really good wedge set. I don't want to change that over because I'm afraid the next skill damage formation might make Huo and Joan like crazy good. And I don't disagree. And so just keep it. All right. If you're on the spectrum to where you're like, I'm done with skill damage, I don't want to mess with it, I don't want to have anything to do with it, then that's why people are moving to Delta. Okay. So there's your 1 skill damage, 2 combo situations. All right. You can run that multiple different ways. All right, you can literally run it however you want, but that gives you a bunch of different options here, okay? And so that's going to be a common one with people running 3 cavalry. All right, so let's move on to the last one. And the last one is running 3 cavalry. Now, listen, R-Blade and you guys that want me to do a 7-march psycho cav murder ball, that's not what this is about. This is about trying to figure out if you're going to do skill damage or combo, how you set up your marches. And if you're going to run 3 cavalry and you've decided you're going to run 3 combo cavalry marches. All right, this is exactly how I'd run it. I'd run Attila and I would bring in David. Okay, I'll explain that in a second. Then I would run Arthur Gang Gang and then Achilles Hector. Now, again, you can put in Achilles Philip. All right, you can put in Arthur Philip. You can do multiple different things there. So you just got to understand exactly how that's going to work. You could run Attila with Achilles and then switch up some things and run Arthur with Philip. And then I guess if you wanted to, you could run like David with Gang Gang. You could do multiple different things. But this is how I'm going to run. This is what I'm trying to debate. Am I going to run it like this or am I going to run it like this? That's what I'm trying to debate. Okay, so if I go 3 combo, all right, we're going to talk about Attila David. Here is why that march is going to work. All right, number 1, running Achilles behind Attila has been really, really good for me. All right, and I'm just doing it on my second account. I don't even have my arch stuff. I'm running it on Delta. And so I know that works. All right, well, if you're getting into 3 combo marches, here's the key to David. It's kind of like a Gorgo thing. Let me explain, all right? Let me educate everybody on how this thing works. Let's go to Gorgo real quick, because when I did a long time ago my all smite marches, there's something that Gorgo does that really enhances everybody in the field hitting the target, and that's this thing right here. There's a 10% chance to increase the target's normal damage received by 30%. That is a 30% more normal damage received from all sources. So if you're targeting something and that fires off, you get that for 3 seconds, you're trying to hit that target with as much smite as possible, okay? Well, let's talk about David, because it's even better, okay? David has this weird skill over here where he does combo attack damage increase of the target of 40%. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm all in on combo, I'm running 3 marches of combo, you might think about putting David in. Now, most people are not going to have David. Guys, I get it, okay? But honestly, now I'm kind of talking to more of the Cav Simps, the guys that are running a bunch of garrisons and stuff, because he's a garrison commander. I'm not saying to invest in David. I'm saying that you can if you want to do a 5-5-1-1 or a 5-5-1-5, and you really want to get another combo commander out there, you can do it that way. However, I do not advise it unless you're a garrison. But if you got the gold heads and you want to even minimum investment this guy, 5-5-1-5, you can go use him. And with this skill right here, you're running 2 other full-blown combo damage marches, like hard-hitting ones. So this, like we freaked out about a Boudica skill, all right? Where's Boudica? Where the hell is she? Boudica was really relevant for a while. And part of the reason why was because, let me see, where is it? Their troops take 25%. Okay, here it is. It's off her active skill. For 3 seconds, the target's going to take 35% more skill damage. Everybody used this, and it was so valuable. Of course, that was back then when just about all the marches were all skill damage. All right, so it's the same effect. It's 40% combo damage, so you have to run, like, do not run Philip unless you're running 3 combo marches. That's basically what you have to say. Okay, and so that's how you can run this guy. Of course, he's got a lot of big area of effect damage, but he's really doing as much debuffing as he is doing damage. So that's why I put him up there to run. However, I'm not exactly advising everybody to go do that. But if you had complete control and could do anything you wanted, that's exactly how I'd do it. I think personally, most of the people are going to be in a situation to where they're running like Arthur with Philip, and then they run like Gang with Achilles, and then they move like Hector behind Attila. You could do it a bunch of different ways. That's always been the beauty of Cavs and archers. You can run them a whole bunch of different ways. Like you can literally run your cavalry however you want. You can move around your skill damage marches. Back in the day when we had multiple cavalry marches and commanders, you could do it now with combo. It's the same thing. You can move things however you want. Move them around any way you want. And so you can do it with archers. Infantry's the troop type that's hard to do that with. And so from that standpoint, we are in a situation to where we have a lot of flexibility, but there's a good idea for your 3 cav combo. And if you've got arch, holy cow, go run that. That sounds absolutely busted. I'm thinking like Arthur with Philip right here. I'm thinking you could easily run Achilles or Attila with Hector. And then you could easily run Achilles with Gang. I mean, you do a whole bunch of different things with a lot of combo damage. Like you're just laying down 4 and 5 commanders full of combo, just laying it down, especially if you're going to run with David. Okay, so that kind of helps you out a little bit. Let me come back over here. This will be the most common thing, and this will be the most common thing you want to do. You either want to leave Arthur with Huo and let that be a really good skill damage march, or you move him and run the best cavalry march, one of the best marches in the game. You run an Arthur Achilles, and then you bring Joan in, and you run your 2 different types, your Delta and your wedge set, okay? So from there, I want your comments down below. I want you guys, click on my Discord. Tell me what you got. We'll work with you. We'll help you. And so that's what it's all about growing this community. We absolutely love it. I absolutely love you guys. And if you would be so kind, again, throw a thumbs up on here, give this video a like, because we love doing this type of content. We love helping. And that's kind of like, that's my style. I love the community and I want to help so much. And with that, we will see you later, broskies.
I don't chase trends, I ride what hits. Old war code and my cavalry kicks. Still roll strong with the Tiller's name. That ghost rides hard in the modern game. Call me Cav Simp, I don't flinch. Built by grit, don't need a clinch. What wins stays, I test and go. If it breaks the line, then I ride that flow. Hey yo, you feel that snap? Blade